Greetings everyone, Joshua here, hope you all are well. I'm really excited about this video today because this is something that has been changing my life in the most amazing of ways and the most unexpected of ways. So I've been barefoot now for the last 4 months and I'm by no means an expert on it, but I've been studying it intensely. I've been getting outside every day, being barefoot, putting my feet in the ground, going on hikes, going on runs, and I feel better than I've ever felt. Well, first of all, I feel kind of like that person who goes on, gets rid of gluten and you wouldn't believe it, I feel so good, and they just want to tell everybody and stop eating gluten. And I'm not trying to be that person, but yet anyone that's willing to talk to me about being barefoot, I will gladly share, because the health benefits have been completely life-changing. And I pretty much am barefoot 95% of the time. When I do wear something to cover my feet, like if I go into a grocery store, even though I've gone into some grocery stores barefoot and I've also gotten kicked out of some, but I wear these are Zero shoes, and there's different companies that make these shoes, and basically they're meant to support your foot, and by support your foot I mean literally have no support. All they do is protect your feet just from, they just put a very basic covering on your feet for cactus and things like that. So I'm 95% barefoot, but if I need to go into a store and I have some covering, I just have these, and they're super flimsy, and what that does is it allows your foot to be a foot. So just imagine for a second that you saw a commercial, and the commercial said, "Hey ladies and gentlemen, would you like to wear the best shoe ever? This shoe will support your feet, it will support your body, you won't have back pain anymore, you won't have knee pain anymore, you won't have foot pain anymore, you will feel amazing, you'll be connected to the earth. And what if I told you that you could have these shoes for the low price of $0? Well, that would never happen, because we live in this sort of marketing world where people tell us we need certain shoes, and Nike and Adidas and Puma and all these brands come out with these shoes, and this one has extra support, and this is this running shoe with this micro whatever the heck technology. Now, unfortunate and sad thing about that is those shoes actually cause the most issues, and runners in general have so many problems. If you're a runner, you might know knee problems, back problems, all these problems that runners have actually for the most part come because they're wearing nice shoes. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but the industry has created this whole weird idea that we need to have these great shoes to take care of our feet, and then when our feet hurt we try to get nicer shoes, but ultimately they're just destroying our foot, because the foot, look at this thing is so beautiful. So just to back up a little bit, when I first moved to Boulder in March, I remember telling a friend, I said, I want to be barefoot. I want to go for a barefoot hike tomorrow, and I know it sounds crazy, but I just think it'd be awesome to be able to not have to wear shoes anymore. Shoes were just starting to frustrate me, having to pick out new shoes, having to find ones that fit, having to go through the process of them being uncomfortable, socks, all the things. I just was getting annoyed by shoes in general. So what I found was, without really trying, over time, the more I was hiking, the more I just wanted to take my shoes off. And I would take my shoes off and I would go for a hike, and I might only start, with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and my foot would start to maybe get a little bit sore, and I'd put my shoe back on, but it always felt really good. So I started talking to more people, I started doing more research, and I started discovering that there's this whole movement of people, a lot of them call themselves earthers, it's earthing, that go barefoot, and they go for hikes, and they stand in the ground, and it's this amazing thing. And what I started seeing with myself is, over time, your foot has a natural sole, right? And you develop these calluses on your feet. Your heel, this part of your foot, your toes, everything develops these natural calluses which protect it from, rocks and things like that. It's not to say that when I went barefoot it wasn't painful. Oh yeah. I mean, it's in some ways it feels like a trial by fire. But the more I walked, the more my feet started to just crave the earth. And now, if I ever have any covering on, the minute I hit a trail or the minute I'm outside, I just want to be in the earth. So there's a lot of research, there's a lot of scientific research about this, and recently I was told about 2 different books. I'm going to talk to you all about them just a little bit, and also talk about the benefits of being barefoot. So first off, as Leonardo da Vinci said, the foot is this amazingly perfectly designed thing. It has more bones in the body than any other part of your body, and it's designed perfectly to work. And when we put ourselves in a shoe, what happens is first off, usually shoes are tight, so they kind of cram themselves into the shoe. And we take this beautifully designed structural thing that can grip, that can jump, that can do so much stuff, and we shove it into a shoe that has one flat bottom to it and these synthetic soles. And we cut ourselves off from the earth. And also we cut ourselves off from actually using the foot in the proper way. So first off, when you run, if you have a shoe on, you land on the heel. That's not good. A lot of foot problems and Achilles problems and knee problems are caused because we land on the heel. We're actually meant to land more up here. So when I run now, and I've been doing barefoot running on trails. Today I actually did a 2.5 mile run with these, and I just wanted to see, because I've been reading this book about, I'll tell you a bit about this book. So, Born to Run, about this guy who was a runner and had all these issues and went to all these different famous doctors, and they were just like, we don't have to tell you, your feet are messed up, like you have to be careful. Running is like most runners get injured. So he just didn't really accept that, and he ended up finding out about this group of people in Mexico called Tarahumara, and this tribe of people that basically run like hundreds of miles. They're like as fast as freaking animals, and they can run through all these terrains, and all they wear are these very, very basic sandals. And so he started researching about them and started learning about these ultra marathon runners that literally run, we think of marathon being a long time. These guys run 100, sometimes 200 miles straight, which is wild. And they do them in fast timing. Excuse me, I have allergies, so I'm getting a little snoofly. They do them super fast timing, and they don't have the same issues and knee problems and stuff that the average runner, most runners have knee problems. It's because they're wearing a shoe. So this book I've been reading it, it's been changing my life, and just exciting me and getting me more into running. But one thing they talk about, and this is pretty common, like if you do research, you'll find this out for those that like the more sciencey stuff. When we put a shoe on, like I said, first off, it makes us fit, we hit our heel, which causes a lot of damage and impact. But these companies that are selling us these shoes, they're also destroying our feet, because our foot has a natural arch. If you think about an arch, if you know much about how arches work, the more pressure you put on them this way, the stronger they get. Now, what the shoe basically does is it gives you comfort this way to support your arch, which actually isn't good, because the arch is strong. It wants to support itself, supporting you. But if you put pressure this way, it just destroys your arch. And if you want to see this experiment, take an egg, and if you push it anyway, an egg will crack. But if you push them the very two tips this way, and you can push it extremely hard, it's nearly impossible to break because of that arch system. So our foot has this natural arch, and a lot of people end up getting, orthotics and things like that. And listen, my dad's a foot doctor. He's a podiatrist. So is my sister. And they did not advise barefoot running, and I completely get that. So I'm not saying I'm the expert here, but also in the conventional system, we're not built for barefoot running because, first of all, we are born, with feet, not with shoes. But right away, shoes are put on, and our whole life we're conditioned to wear shoes. So in the conventional system, yes, it does not make sense to go barefoot because we're so used to not being barefoot. So first off, if you are going to go barefoot, start small. Just take your shoes off, walk around the grass. Now I can do 8+ miles on the trail. I can run. I was running barefoot the other day, and it's funny because when I first came to Colorado, to be honest, I was pretty intimidated by people here because everyone is like super fit. People are just running everywhere and biking everywhere, and I came from New York City. I wasn't in that great shape, and I was used to walking. And now I'm the guy that's like literally running like half naked on a trail with no shoes, and everyone's like, what the hell is that guy doing? So it takes time. You need to go slow. You need to build up the callus on your foot, and don't overextend yourself. I cut myself every day. I step on things. I get cacti, needles in my feet. Like it is trial by fire, because I'm recognizing that to pull back all the layers of stuff that we were told to believe, and that includes our body, not just our mind. I talk a lot about the mind and how we're told to believe these things about ourselves that aren't true, but our body is conditioned to exist in a society that doesn't really make sense, where we need to wear shoes into markets, and we have we're told we're wearing shoes because they're supporting our foot when they're actually destroying it. So it takes time to recondition yourself. So when I'm walking on trails, and when I'm doing intense hikes, and people are looking at me and being like that, looking like that guy's crazy, like, oh my God, people all the time, I'll walk by and they'll whisper like, do you see that guy? He's bare feet. Dad, hey Dad, that guy's barefoot. And they're just like, I know, son, he's nuts. I don't know if they say that, but people do give me looks, and they're curious, and some people are like, wow, barefoot, that's amazing. I can't believe it. Congratulations. And they want to like high five me and stuff. But to me, this is the natural way. I'm not doing anything like, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just going back to how things actually were, and the foot wants to support itself. And what's been amazing, is really not having the same pains. Like I bend over a lot because I'm gardening a lot. I don't have back pains ever. I don't have knee pains ever. I don't have any of the pains in my body that I used to have. My spine feels more straight than it's ever felt. I don't feel sore. And so many runners have so many issues because literally because of the shoes that they're wearing. And that's crazy to me that we're spending money on something that's making us feel worse. So the other thing I want to talk about is this book. And I just watched a documentary on it. And this guy, Clinton Ober, he discovered that the body, is an electrically charged thing. And if we're not grounding ourselves, if we're not putting our feet in the actual ground, we're holding on to so much that's actually causing a lot of health problems. And there's a lot of scientific research in the book and all the stuff behind it. But just the basis of it is basically putting your feet on the ground is life-changing. Literally just that. Even if you don't want to go for long hikes, you can't. Just take your shoes off right now and go put your feet in the ground, in the grass, in the sand, in the woods, whatever it is. Because our feet communicate with the ground. And when we wear these synthetic soles, we're completely cut off from nature. And our feet are super intelligent. If you think about reflexology, like there's so much in the foot, so much intelligence in the foot that's connected to the whole body. So when I walk now, when I go for a hike, I feel like I'm getting like acupuncture or reflexology, like massage on my feet. And even sometimes it can be not even really painful anymore, so much as like I feel lots of sensation. And because of that, I have to be so aware of every single step that I take. And this has been also life-changing. When I'm hiking now, I have to be aware of my feet. I can't just like forget about them and just let them do their thing. I have to be aware of every single step that I take, which makes me completely present. And it's a very different feeling. And when my feet are touching the ground, I'm communicating with the ground, and my feet are sending signals to my brain to let me know what's going on. And it's hard to explain. You'll start to understand it the more that you do it. It's just hard to explain it in like just normal terms, but the feet want to be free. And another benefit is not wearing socks. I don't wear socks anymore. I was always frustrated by socks. They were always getting lost in the frickin' wash. They were always ripping. I never liked the look of them, and they made my feet stink. And now my feet, they smell incredible. It's hard to explain, but if you ever have stinky feet and athlete's foot and all these things, gone. I used to get athlete's foot a lot, gone. It's the smell of my feet used to stink, gone. My feet never smell. In fact, I think they smell good. And I am obsessed with my feet. I look at them, you can see these things. I look at them all the time. I like talk to them. I'm a weirdo, I know. But like, I'm just so aware of my feet because they're such an important part of the body. And we shove them in a shoe, we just forget about them. And think about how many things we just forget about in our life. We just put it away, or we just go for convenience. There's so many things in your life that you can do to make changes, but I've found that just going barefoot alone has changed my life in so many ways. And even in a book like this, he talks a lot about scientifically and medically how so many people, just by putting their feet in the ground, are able to release so much and reduce inflammation and reduce a lot of health issues, because they're actually because we have these electrical charges, we're able to like ground ourselves. Just like a wire needs to be grounded out of a house, or it will cause static and cause problems, the body works the same way. We need to be able to be grounded, connected to the earth. And yes, there's like a kind of more hippie spiritual side to that, but there's also the scientific side, and you choose which side works for you. I think it's like some people need the scientific evidence and other people just want to know like the weird out there stuff. But either way, I think going barefoot is one of the most life-changing things. And start small, really take care of yourself, and you'll start to notice that your feet will take care of you. But again, there is a lot of conditioning that goes into it, so you need to be careful. You need to be careful in terms of how you go barefoot. Don't just go for like a 4-mile hike. Make sure that you're going slow. But the more you do it, the more you'll find that you just don't want to wear shoes. That's what, like, I'm 95% shoe free because I only wear them when I absolutely need to. When I have anything on my foot, I'm just kind of like, I'm like, get this thing off immediately. I want my feet to be in the ground. And there's a movement, there's something changing. I think more and more people are starting to realize the benefits of this. Even my roommate, she went for a hike the other day and she took her shoes off, and she's like, I ran and she's like, my back straightened out and I was breathing differently and all these things started changing. And it's just amazing that we were told to believe that we needed shoes. And shoes, ironically, are the thing, again, talks about a lot in this book. Shoes are really the thing that are completely destroying our feet and destroying the rest of our body. And as someone who has a dad that's a podiatrist, I've known that like the foot is so important. And a lot of health issues come from not taking care of ourselves. So we're at this time in the world right now where we can actually start to take care of ourselves. And, and if you think about what's going on, and we're told to, wear masks and socially distance and yeah, that's fine and all, but also what about like taking care of ourselves? Because people that are healthy are healthy. When you take care of your health, when you eat well, when you're connected to nature, when you take care of your mental health, all these things, they all come together. You're healthy, and you can fight off disease, and you can fight off viruses, and fight off colds, and all kinds of stuff. And there's a million factors that go into that. I'm not going to get super deep into that, but like, you have a chance right now to take care of your body. And whether it's starting to go barefoot and just seeing how it feels, because what's the harm, right? You know, as long as you're being careful and you're smart, what's the harm of taking your shoes off and just walking around, just going for a walk? I mean, whether it's going for a walk on the beach or whatever it is, like, there's no downside to it. And the more you do it, the more you'll get connected to yourself, and the more you'll see how much it just puts you in the present moment and makes you feel better. I feel stronger and faster and just more capable than I've ever felt in my entire life. And it's wild thinking, because I grew up playing a lot of sports. I wrestled, I played football, I played baseball, I played tennis, I played golf, I was on the crew team, and without question, I feel stronger, faster, I'm 35 years old, and they say, you know, I'm like kind of at the end of my prime or whatever, and I feel better than I've ever felt, and I only see that getting better over time. Which is wild to think about, because we were told in this life, the older we get, oh, you're pushing 40, you know, your knees are gonna whatever. Imagine like all the health problems that you have if you could actually shift them around by not being stuck in the system and not just relying on people that don't actually know. It's like, you know, I have nothing against doctors as a whole, but the system is so backwards. So people get conditioned to believe things, and we're born into this world that doesn't necessarily make sense. So we sit in other people's knowledge. But you can actually be an advocate for your own health and take care of yourself. And you can go get checkups. And whenever I get a checkup, I'm always like, clean bill of health. They're like, you're extremely healthy. And I'm just like, yeah, I knew that. You know, I just came in here to just whatever, you know. To be honest, I don't get checkups very often. I don't deal with the medical system often, because I actually heard this from a lot of doctors, that if people took care of themselves, like, we wouldn't really need, like, the reason the medical system is so messed up is because of obesity. My dad says this. He's like, most health problems come from obesity, and like the healthcare system would be completely different if people took care of themselves. And it doesn't, if you fall off a freaking roof of a house and break your leg and you need to get it set, that's one thing. But when it comes to general health, most of the problems that we're dealing with are predicated because we don't take care of ourselves. And we take care of ourselves, and I mean that on all the levels, things start to shift naturally, and you can actually empower yourself and take back your health. And to me, that's one of the most amazing things ever, to know that you can actually take care of your health. It's freaking a game changer. So whatever situation you're in, there's always little things that you can do. I'm not here to say change your whole life in a minute, but there's little things you can do, like taking your shoes off, getting them in the ground, and starting to walk. And even if it's just walking around your house first, even if you're not in a place where you can really get outside, just start, just getting more connected to your feet and seeing how you feel. And let me know. I'm a barefooter for life now, and there's a lot of people. Rob Greenfield has a great video. He's been doing it for 10 years. He just put out a video a few months ago about being barefoot and how it's changed his life. So yeah, check it out. We're just sort of these animals, and we can pretend that we're not, and that we put on, oh, I wear shoes, so I'm not an animal. It's like, being an animal is great. I climb these rocks like a freaking monkey, and I love it, and I feel super connected. So it's always great chatting with y'all, and look forward to more. See you soon.